Welcome back, everybody. Jaysin Static with another episode of the interview series. I am Jaysin Static. You, ma'am, are?
I'm Mother all Butterflies, Madi Monarch.
Madi Monarch. How long have you been in the wrestling industry?
It's a great question because a lot of people ask, and I don't really know what to tell them because I was 15 when I started.
Okay.
I'm 25 now, so technically 10 years. But when I started in the backyard, and a lot of people try to tell me, that doesn't count, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
So sometimes I kind of just scratch that and tell them 5 years, just 5 years.
5 years, 10 years. We've got some years in there. That's really all that matters. And I know that you've seen a couple of these videos.
I have, yes.
So you know that we've got 2 questions for you. Absolutely. Are you ready for this first one?
Yes.
All right. Do you have a preference for customized music or music from a specific band that resonates with your gimmick?
So right now I use All of the Small Things by Blink-182 as my music. But a lot of my friends who do wrestle, they have customized music, and I've heard it and listened to it, and I'm starting to kind of lean further into wanting my own thing. Yeah. Just because I can see there's a lot of local artists that are helping us out. And I love that we're all helping each other in this industry. Yeah. So I think here soon I might have my own custom music. I'm going to start looking into it.
Is it going to be kind of like a play off of All the Small Things? Like the beat and the tempo and everything like that?
That's kind of what I want to do. I've always been a Blink-182 fan for as long as I can remember. Okay. And I've always had such a big connection to them. And having that a part of wrestling is important to me, I feel like. So maybe not. We'll see what where the road takes us with that.
Now, what is the significance of All the Small Things? Why is it that song that resonated with you to start out, to essentially start, because you've used that your whole career so far, haven't you?
Not my entire career. I want to say last year I used it. I want to say I started using it in June or July. Okay. And before that, I actually was using Foo Fighters' Pretender. Okay. I did use some other Blink-182 songs, but I think the reason I chose All the Small Things is because I am all the small things.
You're a small lady.
Yeah, so I feel like it's such a little fun play on. Yeah. People are like, why all the small things? I'm like, because I am all the small things. Right. Because when I'm in the ring, a lot of people have a perception of me, and then when I talk to them face to face in person, next to them, they're like, oh my gosh, you're a lot smaller than I expected. Yeah. And I just kind of laugh about it because I'm so used to it at this point. Yeah. But I also thought All the Small Things, everybody knows it, I know it, and it's one of my favorite songs to sing, and everybody gets to sing along with it. So and that was a great feeling when I went to a show for Mid-Missouri Wrestling Alliance in St. Louis. Right. Everybody sang it for the first time. And it was such a surreal feeling because I've never had that happen before. Right. But it was awesome. So I'm hoping with my new custom music, we can kind of get people
now. Do you have anybody that does custom music, or do you know anybody?
I do have connections, so we're going to look into it and see what happens. Because I've been given, some of the wrestlers are like, hey, here's my guy's card, hit him up, let him know that I sent you, and we'll see what happens. Right.
So. And I'll add this, and it's something that I like, and all the guys that's come from the Fight Club crew, I try to get all of those guys to get custom music, and the one reason why I tell people to get custom music is not only does it help the promotions that you're working with, because then you're able to get intros on there, and the companies don't get dinged for potential copyrights and stuff like that, but it also gives the wrestler the opportunity to potentially make money with it. Yeah. Meaning you can put it on CDs, sell it at your merch table. You can put it on a chalkboard, a magic marker board, and be like, hey, fans of mine, this song is on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on this and it's on that. And the more and more spins and plays that you can get from that stuff. Yeah. The more potentials that you have to make a little bit more revenue in this business. Right. And me personally, I don't know about you, I'm all about trying to maximize everybody's revenue, because everybody knows, it's not a secret that sometimes on the indie scene, it's a little light sometimes, and that's not a dig at any of the companies, we get it. But there's ways that indie guys and indie girls can actually make a lot of money, but they just got to have the elements to do it. And being able to have that custom music, And then it just fits you because you resonate with it much more because it's something that you actually put into and you worked with it. You know, like Eagle. Like, for instance, I'll use him as the example. Part of his intro is actually him yelling in it.
Oh, yeah,
so he actually got to be a part of his entrance music. And the guy that we got to make it actually sat with him minute for minute and put the whole song together with
really
him.
Cool.
So being able to do stuff like that and you're an actual part of it, kind of like when you're developing your gimmick and you're like, yeah, I really fuck with this part of my gimmick. It makes you enjoy what you do that much more.
Right, absolutely.
Appreciate that first question, Madi. Madi Monarch. Second question, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Name one wrestler who you think everyone has forgot about but deserves to be remembered.
I watch a lot of Shimmer. And
okay.
Somebody that I really, really like is Daisy Hayes. I've heard her name come up amongst...
Daisy Hayes.
I was at a show, 2 years ago maybe.
Yeah.
And Mischief was there.
Right.
Even though that Mischief's been retired for a while. Mischief was like, if you ever, want to do like match study or anything like that for yourself,
right,
look up Daisy. And I was like, who's Daisy? And I felt so silly for asking that. And I finally educated myself on Daisy Hayes. And I love that she's not as small as me, but
right,
she is a smaller wrestler.
Right, right.
And just seeing a lot of the stuff that she can do with her size,
right,
gave me a glimmer of hope. Like, there are things I'm capable of doing at my size. Because a
right,
lot of people tried to tell me, you can't do this, you can't do this. And
right,
it's never going to be possible for you. It's not realistic. But Daisy makes it look realistic for
yep.
me. And I feel like she's not brought up enough. There's only like two or three people that I know that like will talk about her when I bring her up. But I think a lot of people should remember that.
This is funny that you say this. Is like Daisy was a staple of the St. Louis wrestling scene in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Daisy, Mischief, man, there's a handful of other girls. Jennifer Starr, Christy Summers was another one. There was so many girls in the Midwest area in the early 2000s that a lot of people probably don't remember or even know about. Like Jennifer Starr was just a little bit bigger than you are. And she'd probably be another one to look up because she was pretty good and she was pretty over. But Daisy is a great choice. And Daisy was actually fairly big on the indie scene too in those early 2000s when the indie boom started.
Yeah.
Like she was one of the people who was going around to like the PWGs and the Ring of Honors and stuff like that. And I think she was like actual like trainer at Ring of Honor with
cool.
with Delirious. I believe, I could be wrong about that. Somebody correct me in the comment section. But I believe she was like one of the women trainers at Ring of Honor in the early days of Ring of Honor because Delirious was also one of the trainers of Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor definitely brings a lot of memories back to me because like my brother and I originally did not grow up in St. Louis.
Right.
And I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio. So over certain summers, like I wasn't wrestling, but I'd go home to my mom's for like a month or two.
Right.
And at night, since we had public access TV, we were constantly watching Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and that was one of their hot spots over there.
So everything that like we would watch, like this is freaking boring. And like then Ring of Honor would come on. I'm like, okay, I'll sit and watch this. And I just remember how it looked back then compared to now, and it's insane because the quality of the show has changed so much, and like the way it looked back then, it just looked like a house show, and like we're just sitting in and like kind of watching it, and it was like kind of like dim room. But like now you watch Ring of Honor and there's hundreds of thousands of people. Like it's insane, and it's like I always love watching the older stuff because it just kind of feels more like what I do right now at CHWA, because it's like a house show. Right. Everybody, everyone, or it's just really close.
It's like the old days of ECW. Like I'm a 90s kid, so I grew up in the ECW era, and watching those things compared to like I was a WCW kid. So I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s. So being able to find WCW and then rolling into like ECW and watching those things on VHS tapes and stuff like that. And then in the early 2000s, whenever I started wrestling, when the indie boom happened and Ring of Honor happened and watching all of those guys come up, guys like Low Key and Adam Pierce, Scrap Daddy, Iron Pierce, and all of those guys like that, and M-Dog 2020 and a bunch of other names, and Delirious and Colt Cabana and CM Punk and Jerry Lynn, and there's a different vibe for those things compared to what some of the way shows are. And I actually love the vibe of those intimate house show type things. Sometimes I think the immaculateness of the big crazy crowds and stuff like that sometimes takes away from what we do.
I feel like it's more like those intimate shows like what I do here. I feel like I have more of a chance to connect with everyone, like pull them in with me and really know them aside from them knowing me.
Right.
And then there's other shows that I travel and go to, and there's hundreds of people, and I feel like I can only get the people that are around.
Right. And sometimes it's just a matter of trying to actually pick people out of the crowd and be like, I think I can connect with this person, and then really give them that emotion. Because something that I've talked about with Angelo, the last episode, and then Elride, you know Elride pretty well. I think I know you. And is the emotion in wrestling is what we do as wrestlers, is we create emotion with people. And I think the more that we do that, and I'm saying this as somebody who's also on the small side, you know, but me being a guy, everybody, no matter who it was back in whenever I started, everybody was like, you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do this. And I was the only person to graduate out of my fucking class.
That's awesome.
And I showed everybody. And I might not have been the greatest wrestler, but when I did go out there, one thing that I did as a small person is I showed intensity, I showed passion, I showed emotion. And that got people to follow me anywhere and everywhere that I went to. And I have people who were my fans from back then who still follow me today and buy my merch still to this day. I just sold an 8x10 to a person in Maine.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I never wrestled in Maine. So, do you have anything to promote?
September is kind of it's a slow month, but it's a big month because...
Big month.
So the weekend of September 13th and 14th is John Holt Yo X. However, I'm only here for night 1, which is the 13th. The 14th, I will be in Evansville, Indiana, at Hooligan Championship Wrestling, facing Eric Adamia. But I don't know if you know this, but they put somebody else in my match.
Ooh, okay.
Billy Starks.
Billy Starks.
So
I think I might have seen a flyer. This is your big shot.
Yeah. This is my second match with Billy. This is my first match with Erica, and I'm really trying to do redemption because I think the first match I had with Billy, I could have been so much better.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready to show everybody that I have made my progress.
Yeah.
The matches are almost a year apart.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to show the progress.
I think you're gonna kill it. I always tell people, I watch a lot of indie wrestlers, and I promote indie wrestlers. This one of the reasons why I do this interview series is because I want to promote indie wrestlers and help them get to different places. And I don't know if you actually know this, but I have a friend who's down in Florida, and he helps on a couple of shows down there. And I've actually sent your name and a couple of the CHWA guys a couple of months back. I don't know if they've ever reached out, but I told them, I go, there's a couple of young people up here that absolutely kill it, and you're one of those names that I gave them. If that ever turns out to anything, who knows? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But
I'll make sure to get you the credit for that.
Do you have anything else to promote, merch or anything like that?
I have new Madi Monarch t-shirts. They were on Pro Wrestling Tees. I believe they are still active as of right now, but coming at the end of the month, I will be closing my Pro Wrestling Tees account and reviving it.
Okay.
So as of right now, I do have my current shirt up there, and I think I have my gray design up there also.
Check her out on the shows, guys. Make sure you get that merch. You love Madi Monarch. I love Madi Monarch. I've watched her career for a while, and she may not know that, but I have watched for a long time. I watch a lot. I told Elride this in our interview. I go, I've been watching CHWA when you guys were the guys getting grilled by all the veterans in the area of St. Louis because you guys were backyarders. So I've been watching you guys a long time, and I rock with what you guys do. That's why I'm here. That's why I support you guys. And I hope you guys support Madi Monarch. Check her out. And also, last but not least, check out my stuff. Fight Club Wrestling Academy. Tell me how you like this episode. Tell me how much you love Madi Monarch. And last but not least, check out weare138co.com. That's the website. Jaysin Static merch, Fight Club merch, and a secret weapon that I have. 138 streetwear. Not many people know about this. Madi Monarch doesn't know about this, but it's wrestling-related streetwear. Check it out. Maddie, appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Hope to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Perfect.